Philharmonic in a Czech piece, right. Dvorak, and the great New World Symphony, which he wrote. He came to America, so it's called Symphony from the New World, and gets right to the point. It's just exciting music done the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, just a little bit of the last movement from the Symphony No. 9 by Antonín Dvorak. It was played by the Czech Philharmonic with Karl Ancherl directing, and that's the Symphony from the New World, which, in fact, as you said, he wrote after traveling to the United States and teaching there for a couple of years. My guest is Tim Dawson. That was his selection. Well done, Tim.
Thank you.
Very nice. And I'm Tom Allen, sitting in for Rex Murphy here on Cross Country Checkup. Our topic today, classical music, is it thriving in this age of popular choice? We have a guest now. This is Dave Matheson. He's a musician, a singer, producer, performed for many years with Moxie Fruvis. He's recently produced David Francie and Mike Ford's latest recording called Seaway. He also plays piano with Ron Sexsmith, with Laurie Cullen, with Betty and the Bobs. He's an avid student of everything from jazz to bluegrass and a brilliant musician. And Dave is on the line from his home in Toronto. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Tom.
Nice to talk to you.
Hi, Dave.
Nice to talk to you, too. Hi, Tim.
So how do you think most people approach music today? What are they looking for, and where do they find it?
I think people find it everywhere. I think you can't get away from it. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It's cheap and always in our presence. You know, in the cab, in the grocery store, everywhere. But I think that the upside of that is that if you are taken with it and interested in it, you can begin to seek out what turns you on about it. And the internet and iTunes is a fantastic resource. Because you can go directly to what it is that appeals to you, and you can even sample it before you put your 99 cents down.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's a luxury that was not available until just recently.
Exactly. I said instead of buying a whole LP at $14 or $15.
Right.
To see if you like Shostakovich or something like that. Yeah.
So we're just coming through the Christmas season when people tend to turn a little more to classical music for a few of the old favorites. Anyway. What do people get, do you think, from them? Why is it that there are some pieces that stay with us that way every year?
I think it is it's comfort, it's security, it's a sense of identity that you get from something that you know what's going to happen in the next bar. You can sing along with it, and you and whoever's playing it are on the same page. So there's a sense of communion there, or shared consciousness, or something like that, connection at the very least, right? So that's that familiarity. My thoughts about that are that it is comforting, and it gives a sense of security about who I am. You know, when I can say, this is the music I like. I know Neil Young's going to sing this next. I know that the next line in Hark the Herald Angels Sing goes like this. And by taking part in that activity with whoever's also doing it, I mean, there you are. You're connected. It's wonderful. It's the best thing about music. Maybe why we do it.
Well, and it gives a sense of tradition, doesn't it? And I think when things are changing so fast nowadays, if we can sort of grab on to something that's been going on for more than 10 years, maybe 100 years, maybe 200, 300 years,
right?
There's comfort there, isn't there, Dave?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But now, for me, it brings up an interesting point about where does that sway over into boring repetition, right?
Right.
How do we keep that infused with life and feeling vibrant? And I'm curious, Tim, what do you think as a symphonic player and as a classical player?
Well, you know, my teacher used to say, he said, you know, you play every concert like it's your last concert. And it sounds trite, maybe like a cliche, but he lived that way, and we just sort of we were imbued with that attitude, and that's what it boils down to. Like, you have to play with passion. You can't. It doesn't matter how many times you've played Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. You play it every time like it's the greatest thing you've ever played. And well, it is.
It may be.
Yeah, it's incredible. And unless you've got to find the inspiration and the joy every time you play something, and we're so lucky in classical music. There is so much music available to play that it's. I mean, it's like anything. You can be bored doing whatever you do, right? It doesn't matter if it's in music or it can be the same in pop music, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you see the difference when you hear a performer that. Well, look at Leonard Cohen. How old is Leonard Cohen now? And he's out there, and he's just incredible. And his performances, I for my 50th birthday, my sweetheart got us tickets to see Leonard Cohen, and I was just just blown away. And he sung Hallelujah how many times, and it was absolutely wonderful. And
now, and Dave, you're somebody who has an appreciation of all different kinds of music. There are people who really only say, this is, when we talked about finding your identity in music, they might say that I'm this kind of person, or I'm that kind of person. So what is it you can say to somebody that would get them to broaden their horizons? What do you get from one kind of music that you don't get from another?
Well, I would say that you can pursue that question. Why is it that I love this piece of jazz? What is it that this piece of jazz has in common with this piece of bluegrass, has in common with this piece of African music that I've found, has in common with this piece of classical music, And that's an intriguing question and very worthwhile going after, because you can find that or rather, factually, the elements are the same. You have rhythm, you have melody, pitches, and you have a harmony, groups of pitches behind the melodies. And those three things are there in all kinds of music. And if you take advantage of this wonderful time that we live in to soak up and sample a bunch of different things and seek out what's common between these things, I think it's a worthwhile pursuit, because it it tells you something about our sameness as humans, and, from different cultures and different times.
And ultimately, it boils down to feeling, doesn't it? And that saying, music is the flower of feeling. Like it comes from how we feel as humans.
Yes, exactly.
So the passion, it's human passion.
Yep.
Dave, we asked you to pick some music we could play here. We got a bit of one of the things you suggested. This is a Samuel Barbers Excursions. This little piece of 4 pieces for piano, and we're going to play one of those.
Great.
What can you tell us about this?
Well, I like it because it's the Streets of Laredo as he adapted it for a piano.
A cowboy song, right?
Solo piano. It's a cowboy song that I Wikipedia'd it today, and it apparently is a British song before that, British folk song before that. But I love it because it's surprising. It just does something surprising. I'm a fan of country music and pop music, and to hear what he does with the time of this. As a listener, I feel off balance listening to it. I'm surprised at where the notes fall, and it takes on a kind of a dreamlike quality that the doom doesn't afford. So it kind of lifts off into a kind of a vaporous thing that's really appealing.
All right, and before we play it, Dave, you're familiar with the Barber Adagio for strings?
Yes.
Yeah, because that was when I was a kid. That was one of the first recordings I ever bought. I bought it at a yard sale, and certainly takes you to a dreamlike place.
Yes, and that's certainly a popular one, I guess, because of Platoon, right? It certainly gets a lot of attention.
All right, well, thanks, Dave. Great to talk to you always.
You too, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Dave. That's Dave Matheson. He's a musician, singer, producer, and was at one time with Moxie for Vis. Here's his selection. This is Eric Parkin playing Samuel Barber's Excursions. It's the Allegretto, one of 4 little pieces by the American composer Samuel Barber, put together called Excursions, and that was played by Eric Parkin. And as our guest Dave Matheson pointed out earlier, it's based entirely on the old cowboy song, which I guess wasn't really a cowboy song before that, called The Streets of Laredo. This is Cross Country Checkup. I'm Tom Allen, sitting in for Rex Murphy. Our question today, we're looking at classical music. Is it thriving in this age of popular choice? Is it still important? 1-888-416-8333, 888-416-8333. We have a couple